Hey folks, Vortex here and welcome to my review of the Simgot EW100P. Yeah, the shark. I don't know why that is, but that's the one. So obviously recently I did their EA 500 model, which is actually pretty good, and I've got it here. So this was a good set. And yet, as usual, I'd like to thank Linsol for sending me this unit to try out, so thank you very much. I was not paid to do this video, nor thoughts and opinions are my own. And yeah, so single dynamic driver, which tends to be my preferred kind of driver. And yeah, let's just get into it. So for some reason they've added a shark, I don't know why. Obviously it says there, salute to the art and science. Nothing there, nothing there. So specs, so high performance dual cavity dynamic, LCP diaphragm, so that should be pretty good. 10mm driver, 32 ohm impedance, like the standard. Sensitivity is 122, which is quite high. 20 Hz to 20 kHz. So this is a much cheaper kind of version of well, I wouldn't say it's the same, but it's much cheaper than the EA 500. So kind of cardboard box with the branding. So these are, I think, around $19. So again, much cheaper than the EA 500s. So quite small. And that's it. You can see the dynamic driver right below. 2-pin. And yeah, salute to art and science. You can see there. So I'm looking forward to this kind of set, because normally, let's say the EA 500 was a good set. This is the cable, looks kind of average, maybe a little bit rubby, but we'll find out. Obviously three pole as well. I do prefer ones without microphones because it's just simple. There's less to go wrong. Yeah, so that's it. So just the tips, small, medium and large. Yeah, and that's it. So obviously, like now, I haven't tried these. You'll see me in the future when I've graphed it. I'll put a good few hours on them and my thoughts and opinions, see what the comfort's like, because the shape looks a bit odd. And yeah, I'll see you in the future. Hey folks, so welcome to my review section of the Simgot EW100P, the shark one. But anyway, this is what it looks like with the cable. So obviously this is the right unit. You can see what it's like. Cable is obviously on the cheaper side, but it actually works fine really. I didn't really have any issues with you know, like cable noise or anything like that. So right angle connector, which I do like. You can see how it's joined there, and the Y split is a bit crude. It's just that, but it works. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Bit of writing on their fingerprints. You can see the DD there. So anyway, let's talk about comfort, and then I'll talk about build really. So I found the comfort on these is actually I was okay. Not the best, as you can see the shapes just, you know, it doesn't look that ergonomic. I'll just take a tip off. So they're not that big. I'd probably want the nozzle a touch longer, but it's fine really. So build, again, it's fine. This is around a $20 product. Obviously it's not like the EA 500, which is a bit more premium and better tuned, but this is obviously $20 as when I did this video on Linsol. It's $20. It's fine, very straightforward construction. 2-pin there. There's a vent there to, I think, to help reduce, you know, like the vacuum effect. You can see that just there. And yeah, it's fine, works perfectly fine. So let's talk about power and sensitivity. Again, no issues at all. And it does use a, I think, another LCP driver. Obviously, I will link all the stuff in the description. And yeah, that driver seems fairly efficient and no problem at all. Whatever you've probably already got will work fine. It's not like planar, which can be a bit more difficult. But single dynamics tend to be fine, unless it's got something exotic in it, and that's it really. So no problem at all. So timbre of these is again single DD timbre, which is good. It's probably the best way to describe it before the camera blows out. It doesn't like reflections. Yeah, so timbre on these is perfectly fine. It does sound realistic. Well, really close to realistic. I'll get to the tuning in a bit. But again, yeah, it's pretty fine. Yeah, stage imaging. Sound stage, again, is something I would prefer to be a bit bigger. It does have a little bit of like further out there, but it doesn't really sound that big or high. Like the height doesn't sound that big. And imaging on these is fine. Nothing out of the ordinary. So let's talk about, yeah, sound really, because that's what it's all about. So put the graph on so you can see what it looks like. So you can see it does follow the kind of normal. A lot of the graphs these days and tuning and frequency response is all kind of similar. They're not always the same, but they can always be quite similar. So talk about bass is so quick and dirty compared to something like the Truthy Holler. You can also always compare graphs with the squeaking a bit if you want. This has a little bit less bass than something like that. So it has enough. It's not a bassy boy, but it's got enough of it. Sub bass does roll off a touch, but the level of bass this actually has seems fine. So I do typically listen to electronic music, and it does have enough hit, just about. I mean, just about. And yeah, nothing to say really. Its performance for the low end is fine. The driver they used, I'm sure it's an LCP. Again, if I made a mistake, you can always obviously check all the info in the description. But the dynamic drive they used is a good one. So yeah, mid-range is very, I found very clean. There's a slight bleed again from the bottom, from the bass, but I do like that helps give it vocals. Now I did like male and female vocals with this one. It's pretty fine, and the mid-range is perfectly solid in my opinion. It was again very clear. Not much fatigue. It just sounded kind of real, and I was quite happy with the mid-range that this actually offers. Now, a part I don't like is the treble. You can see the lower part you can see it elevates up to like 3k to like 5 is quite up there. Now I found this treble a little bit too spicy for me, so a little bit too hot. Again, you can always EQ, or even easier, turn the volume down is probably the easiest option. But this is definitely a brighter set. Now I tried this very briefly with the Tangsu Weiner, and this sounds a touch brighter than that. I found, especially with instruments, is a touch brighter. But it is what it is, and this is what again I have a little bit of imbalance from what 5k to about the 8. Again, I didn't really notice that, but yeah, there's an imbalance there, but I didn't notice it, and this is just from the units that I've had, and I did measure them multiple times, to double check. And yeah, but still a good set. It's a brighter set. I wish it did have a bit more extension, but it is very clear because of the brighter treble. Now some people might not like that. It all depends again on your genre. If you're a treble head, this may help you, but then if you're a treble head, you probably want more extension as well. But its sheer sound quality and the performance, I think, is very good for $20. Again, I prefer a slightly different tuning. I prefer a little bit more low end and a little bit of a smoother treble response. That's just my choice, really. And without waffling on, so conclusion, do I recommend these? Yeah, it's another good solid one at the $20 price point. It can be a bit bright or fatiguing, but then again, you can always EQ or turn the volume down and something like that. But the tips it comes with, that I'm struggling to get back on. Tips are fine. Overall, it's a good set. It just depends if that tuning is what you want. For me, it's not my desired preference, but it might be your desired preference. But yeah, overall, great sounding set if it suits you. Another one that's great value for money. Again, the cable's good enough, the tips are good enough. Definitely a brand to keep your eye on, especially from the EA 500s, which are a good set. And yeah, I'm not sure what to say really. It's a solid overall set, just a bit bright. And I think that might be pretty much it. Not much to say really. It doesn't really do anything really wrong really, and it's good. Seems to be good value for money. So yeah, if you want anything more in particular about these, then please do let me know in the comments. And as usual, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.